I'm Alex. I'm one of the founders of Near. Let's talk today about artificial intelligence, given it's the year 2024. Some of you might know, many of you don't, that back in 2017, Near started as an AI company. Both myself and Ilya, we're coming from AI backgrounds. Ilya is one of the 7 people who created the transformers, the technology that is powering today the artificial intelligence. It's interesting to look at the artificial intelligence through the lens of the bigger vision of what Near is trying to achieve. Near is trying to build the world in which people are in control of their data, assets, and power of governance. And if you think of every technological revolution that has happened in the past decade, it could be social networks, mobile phones, ride-sharing. Every single breakthrough that happened, with the single exception of blockchain, has resulted in a small number of large profit-seeking corporations fully capturing the value of the technology. And without an exception, that always means collecting user data, processing it, monetizing it, selling it. And the current path of artificial intelligence is exactly the same. Today, the tier 1 technology is fully controlled by a small number of entities. It's OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. As they establish themselves as the leaders in the space, all the attention, all the user data goes into those silos. User data helps them build better and better models, and eventually it gets harder and harder for open source community to challenge the status quo. And to contrast against this future where artificial intelligence is fully owned and controlled by large corporations, we have this concept of user-owned AI, the future in which artificial intelligence is in the hands of users and the society. It's a large multidisciplinary effort which includes research, applications, and deployment of an artificial intelligence in the way that at the end of the day benefits society. I want to talk about 2 aspects of it that we work on right now in the context of Near. One is finding a sustainable way towards the future in which, as OpenAI, Anthropic, and others continue creating larger and more powerful models and technology, open source community can keep up and continue being competitive. We are somewhat, right now, we are in a moment in time when it is somewhat the case, right? Facebook has been pushing the open source technology forward. However, you really don't want open source community to be fully dependent on Facebook, which is not necessarily known as the company that is not building walled gardens. Even in the world in which we do have artificial intelligence in the open source that is competitive with big players, it is important to have ways of deploying it in such a way that users are still in control of their data. Even today, when we do have large language models by Facebook, by Mistral and others, it is almost impossible to deploy them in a way where data does not go to some centralized entities that provide inference services. At the core of every artificial intelligence systems, there is large base model, right? It could be Llama, it could be GPT, it could be Claude. And training those base models is extremely expensive. And as a society, we need to find a way to continue creating those models as the big players continue running away from the open source. And today, training a model on the size of GPT-4 or Claude requires you having something on the order of tens of thousands of H100s, very expensive GPUs, in a single cluster with InfiniBand, something that very few entities in the world can afford, and something that is inherently impossible to do in a decentralized manner, right? Because it has to be in a single building owned by a single entity. That is a largely unsolved problem today. And Near is positioned to solve it much better than almost any other entity. If you compare Near against any entity outside of Web3 space, think of Mistral, Stability, it is extremely hard to build those models in a way that you can deploy them in an open source way, in the way that benefits society, but you can monetize them to have resources to continuously create those models every year with new and new models coming from the big players. And this is something that Web3 generally has a solution for. Web3 is very good at building, at orchestrating, pulling together massive amounts of resources from various people, creating value based on those resources, and then distributing back value to people who contributed. So this is something where we have massive advantage over Web2 players. And if you compare against Web3 other entities, we have again an advantage that both myself and Ilya, we're experts in the field. So we have people who actually understand very innately what they're doing, and that's very important for any effort for people to know what they're doing, who spearhead it. And generally, if you go and find your friends in artificial intelligence space, talk to them about crypto. They don't care about crypto and don't know much about crypto. And it is important for them to work with people they know, people they respect. And this is where having someone like Ilya, who is the creator of Transformers, is a huge asset because people want to work with people like that under the same roof. So that's long term. As I said, largely unsolved problem, but we're investing massive resources into building ecosystem and driving research to make this a reality. In the short term, where we do have Llama 405B today, it doesn't seem like any larger model is about to land. We need to power the existing open source ecosystem to get as much as possible from the resources we have today, right? And we invest heavily into building and empowering ecosystem projects that work on decentralized storage, on data, all aspects of data monetization networks, synthetic data annotations. All of that allows you today to create significantly more powerful systems through fine-tuning, through building agents. That's a very active area of research. And Web3 here is a very powerful tool for all those companies to orchestrate value transfer, to have the single point of truth for things like licensing, for things like distributing access to compute, etc. And we have a very large ecosystem of projects within the NEAR ecosystem that work on every single aspect of this big picture. And we're building a massive infrastructure and the ecosystem for people to collaborate, to have a single place, single decentralized place where the resources are available, where people can exchange data, compute, models, and value. And I want to shift gears slightly here. I have a little bit of time, and I want to talk about the second aspect that I mentioned early on, about deployment of systems in a way that keeps people in control. I want you to show a quick demo, a quick video. That's an agent that was built by one of my colleagues over the course of 1 week. If you've seen a service called WebSim, this is inspired by WebSim and largely follows the same formula. You see here someone prompting to build an application that shows all the pools on Ref Finance. And what happens under the hood is that it's an agent that has access to metadata of every single contract, and it is powered by Llama 405B, and it allows you to build fully functional applications effectively on the fly. This is a real-time video. Every request goes to 405B, decentralizedly hosted by Hyperbolic. And you can see how you can effectively, very quickly iterate on changing little things. Right, so like here you can see the first prototype that the model built for you of application showing you all the pools. It shows contract names, which is not extremely helpful, and the user is requesting to instead show token names and metadata. So as I said, it has access to ABI of every contract, to the function signatures, to the format of the return value. So it can easily fetch any data from chain. And this is not, if you follow AI space, this is something that has been happening. It is not particularly groundbreaking demo. WebSim, that was the inspiration for this tool, can do more complicated things because it is powered by Claude, a more powerful model. But something I want you to think about here is generally in the Web3 space, a big part of the effort was building applications, building tools for people where they will be in control of their assets, right? Like think Uniswap, where you're in control of assets you're exchanging, right? Think of Tornado Cash, where you're fully in control of the information about your data transfers. All of that is only meaningful if you are sufficiently technologically advanced to use them directly, right? But this is not how people interface. People interface through every application today using websites, using applications. And our, generally, the infrastructure on top of which we're building is built in such a way that any application, any website that you're using as a user you always trust the distributor of that application, right? If you go to uniswap.com, you're always trusting that Uniswap, as the entity that deployed the website, is not doing something weird with your assets as you connect MetaMask. If you go to tornado.cash, you always trust the developers of that website that they will not actually save the information about your transaction when you're sending it. And I just want you to think about the future in which none of that is a problem anymore, because instead of you using applications built by someone else where you have to trust them, there is no such thing as distributing applications anymore, right? The applications are built on the spot as users have a use case, right? So instead of downloading or like opening uniswap.com, you just go and you say an intent. You're saying, hey guys, I want to swap one token to another, and the application is built on the fly. So that future is very close, right? If you think, if you were following what's happening on the screen, effectively in under 5 minutes, it builds a fully functional application fully functional pool explorer for a AMM. And using similar prompts, you can build an interface which will allow you to swap tokens, which will allow you to make multi-step transactions that go through multiple contracts in a sequence. And the most important thing that none of the things that was typed require any technical knowledge, right? So any person without any technical knowledge who understands what they want to happen can use a technology like that in the future to build applications on the spot for their particular use case. Okay, so let's switch back to the slides and briefly talk about the implication of this, right? So as I mentioned, so this is one of the steps and one of the things in which artificial intelligence will be changing our lives, and one of the ways to deploy applications and usages of AI in the way that is respectful of user privacy. And we're investing very heavily in this direction. We're building what is called AI Developer to effectively empower people to build applications for their particular use case. And it involves, the demo I was showing you was a demo of the front end. We have a very strong ecosystem company that builds the same agent for middleware. We're building the same agents for smart contracts. So, 1 year from now, every single person will have power and capacity to build arbitrarily complex applications on blockchain, deploy them in the way that is respectful of user privacy. And that's an exciting future to be in. And I wanted to close with mentioning that if you want to know more, we will have a large conference in Bangkok right before DEF CON, where we're going to be diving deep and having demos, and you will be able to play with all of that live. So yeah, that's going to be a fun time. Come join us in Bangkok in November. Thank you.